I'm absolutely eating waffles while playing this. I'll play a Verdant Catacombs pass here. This is some Noble Sultai in a league right now. I am eating a Eggo waffle like a sandwich because I am an absolute mad lad. Okay, so what's the order I need to do this in? They enter the battlefield, or I reveal my hand, I choose a non-land from it. Again, black-white. Like we faced white deck every single thing. This is the fifth in a row we're facing a white deck. I actually don't. I'm trying to remember because I messed it up one time. So I push this, right? This triggers on the stack. They'll get to see my hand. Oh no, if I push it, it's gone forever, right? Yeah. Stupid Tide Hollow Sculler. Yeah, that would just be a way for them to get rid of my Scavenging Ooze forever. So I'm going to play a Scavenging Ooze, and they're going to, of course, have Wasteland Strangler or something next turn, right? Let's thin our deck a little bit here. So if I pushed Tide Hollow Strangler with the trigger on the stack, that it would have stacked so that their secondary thing triggers, where when it leaves, I get the card back, but the card hasn't been taken yet. So then what would happen is I would not get my card back, and they could take whatever I wanted. They could basically get a free Thought Seize off on me. Hey, thanks for the bits, Little Crimson. So I think here, the strongest line I can do is shock and play one of these Lilianas from my hand and start attacking my opponent's board here. I'm either taking a Tide Hollow, getting a pushback, or taking an Arbiter here. Yep, that's fine. Okay. So they already got value out of their Arbiter, but really that Path to Exile was really just a Fatal Push there. That's fine. Now they can kill my Liliana, and I have another Liliana to play right after. Much better than I thought. Seize, true. And it exiles permanently, but... So this is Eldrazi Taxes, the spooky version, the black-white. A 3-color deck that also runs Leonin Arbiter. Alright, so they get to take my Snapcaster Mage here, or a Liliana. Oh! Thank you for the subscription, Little Crimson Pork Chop. Thank you, Andrew, for the, Wow! Sub-hype. This is awesome. Micah, thank you for the subscription. Looks like Andrew, thank you very much for gifting the followers right now subscriptions. Halzor also joining, becoming a patron saint of doom. Blitzard 88, Andrew also gifted. Thank you very, very much, Andrew. And Callahan. So I think the line here is Edict, either kill a Displacer or I get something back, and then I play the tap land. I definitely have to set up, I got to do the emotes, the sub-only emotes, and I got to set up some, I definitely need to get mods. Andrew, You're definitely going to be one. The best possible draw I could have would be some sort of removal spell so I can clear my opponent's board. What we don't want to see is drawing all lands, and I think this deck runs 21 or 22 lands. So once again, we're flooding out pretty hard. It's kind of been the story of today. Just want to give another shout out to Andrew, who's absolutely fantastic and just subbed 5 people. Yep, so my plan there was to block a Tide Hollow Sculler with my Creeping Tar Pit. I'd block the one with Fatal Push, and then I could get my chain going. But our opponent wisely attacked with a First Strike creature. Again, a nice draw here would be, it's not terrible. If my opponent does attack, I will block with the Snapcaster, but I'm really just going to attack with Flicker Wisp. I do have me on a 4-turn clock there. Yeah, I just want to see my hand. That's fine. My hand is pretty bad. Again, Tarmogoyf is not what I want to draw here. If I attack, my opponent will just take it and then have more power to try to get a lethal swing out on me. So I'm just going to do this and represent either a Creeping Tar Pit block or a Snap block. I'd rather block with Creeping Tar Pit at this point so I can try to utilize Snapcaster if I draw into something like a Fatal Push or a Dismember or even a Trophy. Show me what you got. Yeah. So I couldn't attack there because I'm at such a low life total that if they're representing lethal in a quick couple attacks here. Okay. So I'll just, in response to this, just flash in a 2-1. It's better than losing it. Fatal Push is still a good draw. All right, how do I get out of this hole? So many Scullers. Yeah, we're just getting taxed to death. Really, the downfall of what it is we've seen 17 cards in our deck, and we've only seen 1 removal spell. So if I attack with my Tarmogoyfs, it doesn't represent anything. They're just going to take the damage and then kill me on the backswing. So they have 4 ground attackers and an air attacker, right? I could knock them down to 14 with my Creeping Tar Pit right now. And then in response, it doesn't speed their clock up any. They're just going to attack with Flicker Wisp, put me down to 3. I think I like that line. I think it gives me a chance to do something here. Okay, that's fine. We'll go green in case I get like a Snapcast, Scavenging Ooze, because there are 2 creatures in the graveyard. So the line I was going with there was attack with Creeping Tar Pit, knock them down to 14, and maybe if I can top deck an answer to Flicker Wisp, I could put them out of the game with an attack that forces them to chump block. Unfortunately, we only drew lands, so we lose. 22 land deck. Yeah, I mean, this deck is phenomenal. You can't win when you draw all lands. What is interesting here? Ishkanah is actually kind of interesting. Damnation is probably not good enough. Last Hope seems very good. This deck is actually tuned mostly to beat decks where a turn 1 Liliana the Veil or a turn 2 Liliana the Veil or a turn 2 Fulminator Mage is actually what is good. Andrew, I actually think you would like Sultai because there's a few cards in this deck that I think you'd really enjoy playing with. One is Ishkana and the other is Nissa, Steward of the Elements. I think it's just a card that I think is very green-black X. Stop talking. Notion Thief is also really good against all these Faithless Looting decks. It's like, oh, you cast Faithless Looting. I will Notion Thief you. So what is bad here? I don't know if I need 3 Scavenging Ooze. I don't think Fulminator Mage is worth it. I also don't think Damnation is worth it. Hey Days, how's it going? I actually kind of like Collective Brutality. It does hit Leon and Arbiter. It's an extra way to deal with that. Fulminator Mage is just to get cute, to knock them off colors. Like, I don't think it's good enough. Maybe on the play. It certainly isn't good enough on the draw. Maybe I'll do this. Tireless Tracker, I don't know if that's really the answer I want to try to win these games. I do probably want a Tireless Tracker over a Nissa, though. So let's just do that. I think exactly one Fulminator might be fine. This hand works. Turn 1 discard, disrupt them a little bit. Turn 2 Tarmogoyf. And then an eventual Tireless Tracker. Haven't seen a Noble yet. Tracker does get hurt by Arbiter. Alright, let's see what they're working with. I cannot beat Mirran Crusader. That is a card I cannot beat. They only have 1 white land in their hand, so it is a card that maybe they can't cast. But I can't. I can beat a Rest in Peace, especially with trackers and with different removal spells. I cannot beat Mirran Crusader. That is just a card I cannot beat. The only way I can stop Mirran Crusader is with a Liliana Edict, and it happens to be the only creature on the board, or a what? I would need all 3 Snapcasters to block. So it worked out pretty well. I top decked an Inquisition. This lets me take either the Rest in Peace or the Tide Hollow. So this is a pretty good spot. I don't think playing Goyf is the best line here. I think it's to take the Rest in Peace here. Let's lay this out. Eldrazi Displacer is also a card I'm intrigued in taking. Yep, it's a pretty good target. So let's try to play out this a little bit. If I Tide Hollow Sculler messes with me a little bit, but not that much, right? Like it's a bad Thoughtseize in some situations, and I do have a lot of removal spells in this deck to get through. Rest in Peace will mess up my Tarmogoyf, my Scavenging Ooze, and my Snapcaster Mage. And Eldrazi Displacer is just something I just need to kill. It's a threat that just needs to leave. Because I have Tarmogoyf and Skooz in my hand, and I don't really have any other threats, I think I'm just going to take the Rest in Peace. Now my Tarmogoyf is larger than their Eldrazi Displacer, and it's on its way to being larger than their Thought-Knot Seer. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so next turn we're going to get Thought-Knot Seared, which is fine. Yeah, this was actually Abzan Traverse is much better here than Sultai is. But this is probably the best deck we have to fight through like a blue-white control deck. Be very surprised if they don't take the Goyf here. I think the clear option is either Goyf or Tracker. Yes, yes. When you draw cards that aren't lands, you tend to do better. That's what we've learned this morning. Okay, so goodbye, Tarmogoyf. I actually think I'm going to play Tracker, play the Clue, discard Skoos, and then have Liliana as an Edict effect next turn. I think that's the best line. It does put me Hellbent pretty quick, but it also lets me have my Liliana Edict online, which kind of forces them to attack into her. Skoos is also not as relevant right now with a handful of not a lot of green here. They're probably just going to discard their Sculler. Yep. Not only because we know about the Sculler, but also because it's useless when we are Hellbent. The real question here is, do I block to protect Liliana? And I think the answer is no. The reason being is that if I protect Liliana here, my line is then going to be to crack Liliana, right? Which kills Thought Not Seer. But now I'm losing 2 cards to get a net of 1. It's just not good enough. I think just losing Liliana here is the right play. If they have a path or something, I can certainly get punished for that line. Or I can just be, rewarded perfectly with something called top decks. Opponent has 1 card left in their hand. I can either make them pitch it, or I can make them lose. They're just going to sacrifice a Thalia here. So I think what I want to do is plus that last card out of their hand. Tidal Sculler, sure. I just got rid of a 2/2 from their hand. I'm not attacking. And once again, we're in a spot where I'm just going to let Liliana die. So they're attacking, she's attacking me in, yeah, just let Liliana die. That's completely fine. Top decking a fetch land to be perfect right here. Now Tracker can trade with Thought Not Seer. I have the fetch land. I can Thoughtseize the last card from their hand. Oh, I can't. I can't Thoughtseize and crack a Clue. Which would I rather do? I think I'd rather crack the Clue. Yeah, I don't think there's. I think actually just holding on to this Thoughtseize, I don't really see any benefit in playing it. They can attack right now, but just with Thought Knot, which I don't want to trade with. So I'll just go to 13. I made it so they can't attack with Thalia. I probably should have gotten a Breeding Pool instead of a Watery Grave here. A little heavy on black, a little light on green. Opponent's Ghost Quartering themselves. So whatever they have is they have a Mirran Crusader. I should have Thoughtseized. No? Kaya. So far, everything we've seen this morning has been decks that are trying out Kaya. This is absolutely insane. I mean, Kaya she's a 3-mana planeswalker that barely affects the board. So they can exile a clue. The reason I didn't crack a clue was because if they, okay, they're targeting Skews and Veil, sure. I'll just crack a clue now. Let's drop a land, get a clue. I think I want to Assassin's Trophy the Thought-Knot Seer, and then swing at Kaya. Or swing at Kaya first. Let's do that. They are tapped out. I could Creeping Tar Pit also attack, but I think I could want to save that for next turn. That's fair. So I have enough mana to Trophy and Clue. I'm not going to Trophy the Kaya. Her minus, I still have another turn for her minus, and I have a couple Creeping Tar Pits in play to deal with her, to knock her down a little bit. I'm going to wait as long as I can to kill a Thought-Knot Seer to give my opponent less information, which determines what they play, how they play it, and also I have less cards in hand in case they want to Thoughtseize Tidehollow Sculler effect. Yep. So that'd be 2 mana here for Trophy. I draw a card. Not a good card to draw at the moment. Interesting. Kaya over Souls. That's really, really interesting. So this doesn't make any sense because I can just crack it in response. Opponent might have been trying to catch me F6 or something. Flicker Wisp can either eliminate my clue, reset my tracker. Yep, okay, they're going to reset my tracker. That's fine. There's F6 here. They have 1 card in hand. If that's exactly a path, then I want to save the Creeping Tar Pit. So I actually think what I want to do here is Thoughtseize, in case it's a removal spell, because Creeping Tar Pit's going to kill Kaya. Okay. I'm going to attack them here. I don't think they're going to block. If they block here, I'm actually inclined to be favored with that. My opponent's Hellbent. I have a Clue and a Noble and a Creeping Tar Pit in hand. So I actually want this block to happen. I think it's a mistake for my opponent blocking here. And next turn I get to swing for 4 a turn with Noble Hierarch and Creeping Tar Pit. That's fine. So our opponent's 100% in top deck mode. I I think the line I'm really inclined to take here is just swing for 5, right? And I have 2 mana to crack a clue after. I also am able to block this way in case I'm inclined to do so. And I'll save the clue to my opponent's end step in case they top a Thought Knot Seer and I get a Goyf off of it or something. Yeah, I'll just go to 9. Okay. I like this a lot, so let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's do this. Opponent does have 1 card still in hand, and I can drop a Fulminator Mage and still have enough mana to pay the Leonin Arbiter tax. This means I'm not attacking this turn, but I think I'm in a pretty good spot to pull away with this game. Okay. Anything different? I think knowing that they have Rest in Peace maybe makes me want a couple other extra threats that don't use the graveyard. Because my only ways of killing Rest in Peace are these 3 trophies and my discard spells to grab it early. So I think for that I'll actually trim a Snapcaster Mage, which is absolutely terrible in a world of Rest in Peace. Fulminator's probably okay with Noble, which I still haven't seen on the play yet. And I think I'll cut Scoos. No, Days, the reason I didn't attack for 2 there was I wanted to hold up mana in case they had a path. I don't think the attack for 2 benefited me that much, but if they had a path or a push, with Leonin Arbiter in play, I could still get some benefit out of it. This hand is probably fine. Our opponent's deck isn't particularly fast, and this hand has a lot of powerful cards in it. As long as we draw a 3rd land. Mystic Enforcer. What is that card, Crimson? Is that the protection from black, like threshold card? Yeah, this is fine. It's a 4-drop, right? It's like 4 for a 3/3 that becomes like a 5/5, something like that. I'm intrigued they took the Scavenging Ooze out of all the possible cards they could have taken there. I know it's giving them extra information or revealing the Blooming Marsh here by this rather the less painful option, even though my opponent now knows I have a Last Hope next turn. I think they're going to be dropping a Rest in Peace pretty quick. That's why they didn't care as much about the Tarmogoyfs. This is fine. Perfect draw would probably be a Fatal Push. 3/3 protection from black, threshold becomes a 6/6 flyer. That's an interesting card. A card that well, that was rough. So, push is a good draw. And just pass here. They don't have Vial, so I don't have to worry about them Vial-inning a Leonin Arbiter. Not going to attack. I want to kill that Sculler. Another card I'm interested in is actually Blood Baron of Vizkoba. I know it's a 5-drop, but it's an absolutely wonderful card in the right spot. I would like another Fatal Push. That's probably fine. I meant to shock there. That's a little painful. Punt. I punted. Mark the punt counter. That was a huge punt. I wanted to shock there. Dirt cheap now? What do you mean? The reason I love Blood Baron is he was really nice back when Abzan was actually one of the best cards in the format. So they get to look at my hand, and they bounce. Okay, they're just going aggro here. That's fine. Knock me to 11. Okay. I'm just going to drop another Goyf. Leaving it back for another turn. I do want to start swinging. This is a huge advantage of being on the play for my opponent here. A Thalia would stink because now I can't cast Last Hope. I can't cast Nissa. I can't cast Last Hope. I can cast Trophy. So the real question is, do I want Tracker or Trophy? I think I just want Tracker here. Wait a turn, hope to draw into a land, and then cast Last Hope. Yeah, I need a land hard. I need an untapped land, so a non-creeping tar pit land. I can cast Nissa. She does just die. That's true. Last Hope would absolutely win this game really quickly. Although I have to kill Displacer before I can do that. So it's possible I should have played Trophy here. Right? I should have played Trophy the Displacer, and then, or am I just dead? Yeah, I'm just dead. Yeah, so I should have Trophied the Displacer, and then give myself the best chance to top deck into a land. Why didn't my opponent just flicker my board away? Oh, they only had one more. That's a little odd. Trade here. I feel like I still have a small window here because of the way my opponent tapped. So I have to kill the Flicker Wisp. They'll bounce 1. I block it. I go to 1. Yep. Yeah. We aren't drawing what we need. We have a handful of greatness. Game 1 we lost. We flooded hard. Game 2 we won when we didn't flood too bad. And this is game 3, and as you can see, we are the opposite of flooding. We're pretty starved here. So what opponent could just do is they could just flicker this, bounce Flicker Wisp here, and then Flicker Wisp comes back, taps a Tarmogoyf. I'm forced to chump block here, and then I go down to 1. I think they brought it in for Snap, too. I mean, let's look at my hand. Like, Rest in Peace is not that good against me right now. If I was able to play anything from my hand, I mean, Ishkanah is just an absolute beater here. A basic forest would be stellar. And I think that's just game. Yep. Okay. Well, that was hard fought, but we lost. I think game one really, if we top decked one less land, I think we absolutely won game one. And game three, that Leonin Arbiter Ghost Quarter trick really put us far behind. Yeah. I do feel like for how much removal our deck runs, I do feel like we didn't see many, like 4 push, it's 4, but just remember 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus 5 planeswalkers. That's 13 effective removal spells, and I feel that's almost a quarter of the deck is removal. And I feel like we just haven't been seeing that. Okay. I do think that that matchup is okay. I don't think it's like Abzan Traverse actually is a much better matchup there. This is definitely a mulligan. This is much better. Let's bottom that, and let's lead off with one of my favorite starts to any game, Inquisition of Kozilek. We're playing more white decks here, which is interesting. So next turn, I am going to play a fetch land pass. Then I'm going to play Liliana. I can't play Liliana if they have a Thalia out. I don't think I care about Knight of Autumn. Dryad Militant can just die to Liliana, so I'll just take the Thalia, which is the strongest individual card in their deck. I mean, since when did white become the most powerful color in Modern? Like, white has been historically bad, and all we've been seeing are white decks. Okay, Forest, Dryad. Let's play the fetch land. I'm going to get a Watery Grave, I think, and then play Liliana. Hopefully I knocked them off a second turn play. Good, I can Liliana Edict and then keep her alive. I like it. Watery Grave tapped. I'll go to 17. Yeah, I think people are just reacting. Oh, there's 2 Dryads, so I don't like that as much. I think people are just reacting really strangely to the meta right now being 22% Phoenix, in that they think that Path to Exile is the answer. This seems like a stompy deck, so I'm just going to try to 1-for-1 them here. And then I can drop a tracker and get a clue next turn and slowly gain some incremental value there. I don't even think Kaya is a Phoenix Slayer. I think she's too slow to really combat Phoenix. And I don't even think Path to Exile is really that great against Phoenix. Opponent still has a Windswept Heath and a Knight of Autumn. I can get rid of the Knight of Autumn right now with a Snap Inquisition. That's not a terrible line. And then Snap can block this creature right here. Do I value the... I think I actually wanted to set up for a Snap Trophy. I think that's more relevant. So I'm just going to... I also want to play my land this turn, and Tracker kind of incentivizes this line. I'm just going to do the no-brain line, rather than try to confuse myself here. Still stuck on green, not having enough green mana, which is really strange, because this deck actually has a lot of green sources to be able to consistently play Noble turn 1. Kaya does help, if they don't, yeah, they have a slow game, I guess, but they're just going to hold Phoenix in their hand until it's ready, and they don't really care if their stuff's exiled. They don't even really care that much if you exile looting. Yeah, they're just going to wait. Surgical's okay against Phoenix, but then if you have a surgical plan against Phoenix, you still have to have it in your hand. You have to have it ready. They can't have a dispel or the surgical their own thing in response just to keep you from getting rid of all of them. So 6 damage coming in. I think I can tank 1 hit here. And the next turn my tracker can be a little bit bigger, can block Militant, and then I can trophy this Knight of Autumn. Okay, that was a cool line. still think the game plan I just laid out is what I want to do here. I feel like I'm being very on the defensive here, which is not where I want to necessarily be. Yeah, I mean, if Phoenix can also just start dropping Phoenix is pretty hard. So we are playing against an Abzan deck here. Opponent with 3 cards in hand. One of them is a Windswept Heath. I still haven't played it yet. Okay. How's everyone doing today? Let me know in the chat. Everyone having a good morning so far? For me, it's just about lunchtime, which is why to start this league, I was mowing down some blueberry waffles. Militant is not terrible against Phoenix, not at all. Still has the gut shot. I don't understand main board Knight of Autumn. I feel like this is somebody's pet deck. I think Knight of Autumn is a fantastic sideboard card. I've been very against a situationally powerful card being main board, and people will argue, oh, a 3 mana 4/3 is a worse state, and I'd argue that a 3 mana 4/3 is simply not good enough. And if it was good enough, people would be playing Loxodon Smiter. I'm going to crack the clue before I fetch the land in case I draw. I want to get a tap land here, but in case I draw a Fatal Push, I can kind of use this to my advantage here. Did not draw a Fatal Push. Sure, let's just get a ton of lands here. I think I have enough blue mana. So I still have Snapcaster in my hand. I want to keep him there. Unfortunately, Dryad Militant is very good against my Snap plan. There's the Windswept Heath. Opponent's flooding out. We're flooding out. Let's just hope my top decks are better than theirs and they don't run something really cool like Siege Rhino. Yep. So I'm going to go down to 6 after this fetch. Scavenging Ooze is a good draw. Fatal Push is probably the best draw. Trophy's pretty good. So I'm going to... If I trophy the Dryad Militant, is the Assassin Trophy exiled? Chat, let me know. Also going to ask Google. So, according to the rulings, if an instant or sorcery spell destroys Dryad Militant directly, like a trophy would, the card is put into its owner's graveyard. However, if it deals damage, Dryad Militant remains on the battlefield until the next state-based action's checked, and then, so a Lightning Bolt will get exiled, and a trophy does not. So I'm going to, I can trophy, snap, trophy. So I'm going to do that right now. Trophy this. Snap trophy the Rhino. And I still really can't attack though. Yeah, it's really interesting interaction. I'm glad I double checked that because my initial thought was it would exile itself. Green, black. And I still can't attack because if I do, they can easily put me down. They're at 23 life. They have plenty of life. And if they top deck something like another Siege Rhino or... Unfortunately, I'm still another turn. I keep feeling like I'm just a turn away from attacking here. I probably should have ended the stream and then renamed it. No, we're on Sultai now. Sultai stream. Started on some Abzan Traverse. And now we're on to Sultai. Alright. Alright, see ya, Chris. You left definitely because they killed the Rhino. This opponent's deck is interesting. I mean, they're running Gaddock Teeg mains. This is just an Abzan Wiltleaf Liege deck, which I love. When I say just, I mean this is said with love here. I do have to watch out because that Stirring Wildwood will be bigger. Will be a 5/6, so I have to watch out for that. I need to draw another removal spell here. I'm running a 22 land deck, and I've seen a ton of lands. I would like to draw into some action here. A Liliana would be great. Gaddock Teeg, fortunately, does nothing against me here. Post-board, Gaddock Teeg can stop my damnation or my languish, but it can't do anything to me here. My best possible draw would probably be Dismember. Trophy's pretty good. Okay. So I can attack with Creeping Tar Pit. Knock my opponent down to 19. And I'm going to trophy the Wiltleaf Liege after they commit to an attack. Also shows him who's boss. Yep, they're going to attack with this. And now I can block here, take 2. I'm fine with this. Make them commit to the attack. Okay, so they're smart. Let's blow this up. Okay. Unfortunately, opponent didn't fully commit to the attack. If they had, I could have killed Gaddock Teeg also. Thoughtseize is interesting, except I'm at such a low life total, I really don't want to do it. I think I'm just going to... Worst case scenario, my opponent plays another Wiltleaf Liege, right? And then I have to... Yeah, this is fine. So knock them to 14. I'm almost at the stage where I can start attacking with Tarmogoyf. Okay, that was bad. That was pretty bad. So I have to keep Goyf back to block Rhino. I have to keep Snap back to fatigue, but I think I still need to apply some pressure. I don't think I can win this game without applying some sort of pressure. So I'm just going to swing for 4 here. Crimson, you asked, any cards I would like to see from Modern Horizons? Yes, there are a bunch. There's actually 9 cards I would love to see. I would love to see the rest of the Night of Autumn cycle. I would like to see every single color pairings built. I'll block here. I don't see any trick they could have unless they're just going to Collective Brutality my Goyf. Okay, they're just going to have a path and win thanks to Trample. Alright. Well, they could have just done that to start. I guess I could have blocked it them, these two. Alright. Opponent wins. I lose. I'm a big loser. So yeah, I would love to see the rest of the Night of Autumn cycle. I think Night of Autumn is a fantastic, really cool card, and I think I would love to see more of its abilities. I want a green-black one, I want a white-black one, a blue-black one, a blue-green one, and all of them I want to have the same base mode, if possible, of throwing on 2 +1/+1 counters. I like Ishkana here, I think. I think I just kind of want to load up on removal. Like Veil is really good, Last Hope's really good. I mean, I think I just have a decent deck here against my opponent. I think I like this. I think Collective Brutality is more important to me than Inquisitions. The reason being is Collective Brutality is going to kill creatures, and if I can trade 1 for 1 with my opponent, I think I'm going to win this game. I just got to draw better. Yeah, I agree with you, Blade Man. We do need some better answers to unfair decks. The problem really being, I think that just unfair decks just are situated so much better, and I think the more answers we get, the more we're going to see tempo decks. Unfortunately, everyone wants to see more mid-range battles, right? Like that's I'm playing a mid-range deck right now. I think I'm just going to get a basic. I don't actually care about Assassin's Trophy. It's just going to give me more lands to get the Damnation and Tracker. I don't really care about Militant, but this Voice of Resurgence is going to be a real pain in the butt. So I don't mind if they trophy this, because that just gives me, like I said, it accelerates my mana, and I have a mana light hand. If that was an Abrupt Decay, I'd be more tempted to take it, but it's not. It trades 1 for 1, but it gives me something. Yeah, come on, trophy me. Let me play my Last Hope. If they had a Thalia in hand, I probably would have taken her over the Voice, because Thalia really wrecks my deck. There's the Godless Shrine. Choosing not to trophy me is interesting, and I like it. I do think I'm going to shock here, just to have a little more green mana for Scavenging Ooze. If they trophy Liliana after she kills a Dryad, I'm also okay with that, because that makes Tarmogoyf huge. So I'm actually okay with every interaction with Assassin's Trophy right here. Sure. Yes, I'll get a basic land, and I'll get a basic swamp. Now I get to swing at you with a 4/5. Just being on the play here is very, very different. Next turn I get to drop a Kalitas, and I have Kalitas Damnation interaction in case my opponent somehow floods the board. Still have yet to start the game. Opponent played a land that I haven't seen yet. I still have yet to start the game with a Noble in play, which is kind of the whole point of this deck. To punch face here. And even if they have a path here, what are they going to path? The Kalitas or the Goyf? They have to path the Kalitas, which just keeps me with the Goyf in play. There's the Horizon Canopy. They're digging for a path right now. I'm going to swing with Tarmogoyf. So I'm actually putting the same amount of pressure on if I swung with both. The reason I took the Thought Seizes out is, one, I think my life total is going to matter here a little bit, and two, I didn't want to be in a situation where they have a handful of Wilt-Lift Lieges and I have to give them to one of them turn 1. Inquisition doesn't do that. Okay, let's punch for 5. So I have a 2-turn clock here on my opponent, and I get to drop a tracker here. And if they have a Damnation or something like that, I get to walk away with a 2/2 in play and then untap and with a Nissa, which I'm fine with also. Yep. I think coming back, I think I'd like an extra Inquisition and 1 less Brutality. It's so much fast. I love sideboarding on MTGO. I hate sideboarding in paper. Sideboarding in paper is just rough because you always have to it takes so long. Like this, instead of being a 10-second process, then you have to shuffle and everything else. I really just hate shuffling. All right, let's mulligan this. I need lands to do something. I've heard lands are good. I'll keep this. I have a turn 1 Inquisition. I'll bottom that. I don't want another tap land. Even though I am interested in the market, I'm interested in having more lands. There we go. I don't want another tap land. Okay, Gaddock Teague, again, doesn't do that much to me. Path, I'm more inclined to stop Path here. So these are the 3 cards I'm interested in taking. I think I take the Path. That lets me keep my threats. Although Scoos will grow with the voice. Yeah, I'm just gonna 1-for-1 them here, and Path leaves me with something. Voice is a 2-for-1 on their part. I'll take the 2-for-1. That's true. Every once in a while you'll make mistakes in MTGO, but every once in a while you make mistakes in paper too. I mean, it will happen. Okay, so they have a Path in hand. I think what I want to do is just progress my mana here, so then I can drop a tracker next turn and get a clue and make them Path my tracker. Because they're not going to Path my Noble. Sure, take 2. So my lines are either play Scoos, eat the voice, or play tracker, drop a land. And I really want to draw is like a fatal push here, so then I can make use. That works too. And they're tapped out, so I'm actually just going to fetch this land now. Be right back. Lauren just got home with the puppy, so saying hi to the puppy. Doggo, yeah. She came back from her class. I don't see an advantage of blocking here. I go to 13. That's fine. I still am in the market to top deck a fatal push so I can push Dryad, snap push, something. Opponent can play Gaddock Teeg and Path here. Yeah, so Puppy just got back from her class. She's learning to be a service dog. Yeah, they had to. Okay, so opponent is Hellbent. I'm going to get a Forest here, which just makes Scavenging Ooze better. Yeah, let's go Scooze. Yeah, I'm okay with the ramp when I have this many clues. And I can shock myself so I can actually flash in 2 snaps. But I'm not actually, I think I want to preserve my life total, bide time. Just go like this. My goal is to eat something with Scavenging Ooze, make my Scooze a 3/3, and flash in a snap or crack a clue based on what my opponent's doing. They're going to do Gavany Township, which makes my snap a little bit worse. Yep. Yeah, I just need to draw into a removal spell. Oh, I forgot about that. I punted. Can block here. And am I in the mood to trade Scooze? I think I want to keep Scooze alive, so I'm not in the mood to trade Scooze here. I need the top deck Damnation or Languish. Liliana. 1, 2, 3. I think I gotta crack a clue here. Damnation. Dismember. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't like dismember and do stuff. If I kill the bird, they can't activate Gavany, which is actually interesting to me. And I can pay Dismember without losing life, and then I can make Scooze into a 3/3. Liliana also is probably just as good as Dismember, except I really think that killing the bird is actually potentially more valuable here, because the bird lets him keep Gavaning. If they top deck a land, then killing the bird doesn't do anything to me. No, I think I have to Dismember, kill the bird, block, eat something here, and pass turn, and still am live to a Damnation top deck. Fatal Push is also a decent top deck. The problem with this member is this member just cost me life there. And life is not a resource I really have too much of at the moment. One day I'll see the Gaddock. Yeah. Well, I have the Snap Dismember for Gaddock. So it's still a good draw. Okay, Knight of Autumn, destroy my clue. Yep. I know about the Gaddock, it's just I still have ways of dealing with it. Okay, let's say I block Noble on the Elemental. That would put me down to 1. I think it's time to actually trade Scooze in. Okay, so now they have Gavany active, and I'm just dead. I have Liliana. They get a bigger creature than they have now. I can snap, dismember. And I block here. I'm not dead yet. I bought myself one more time to get there. One more time, one more turn. Let my opponent go for Gavany, not the other way. Okay, so arguably I lost that game because I triggered a voice token when there was no need to. Game 1 I lost from lands. Game 2 felt more what the deck was trying to do, and still in a decently rough spot. What do you guys think of the deck so far? I have not tuned this deck in quite some time. This deck was tuned for a meta 5-6 months ago when Tron was a much bigger player. I don't think this deck is... I really like this deck and what it's trying to do. Not having access to as much exile effects. I think this deck is really geared towards post-board effects, and you can do snap, surgical, or surgical, snap, surgical, and things like that. Hey, I would really like to see something different than a white-black deck, which we've seen now or a white deck. We've seen 6 white decks in a row. Yeah, we can keep this. It's a little awkward. For example, if our opponent doesn't have a target for Dismember, this hand's pretty bad against Burn. This hand's pretty bad against Tron, but we do have some pretty good power level cards in our hand. Another white deck. Yeah, Coco would have absolutely wrecked everything I've seen all day today.
Yes.
So another white deck here. So I'll shock. You gonna path me? Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Take a forest. Opponent is starved on lands. Okay. Well, I have lands enough for both of us. I'm going to discard Dismember because I can bring it back with Snap if I need to, and then I'll pass turn here. Opponent discards Terminus. We're up against blue-white control. Yeah, I don't know why he pathed my Goyf there. I think that was a mistake. So I can do a cool thing here. I can Inquisition, Snap Inquisition, and plus Lily, and that is what I'm going to do. I will get rid of the Detention Sphere, and then I will Snap Inquisition. And then I will plus Lily, pitching the excess land. And that's my turn. Opponent discarded a Cryptic. So they have 3 left in hand. So that's their hand, I think. Should have done it a little differently. Absorb seems really bad. Like, I mean, I guess it buys you time against Phoenix. Is that the plan there? Let's plus again. I'll discard the Inquisition. Again, worst case scenario, I can snap it. Teferi's gone. I'm dropping the skews now so I can eat a path in case they want to snap path me here. I don't like absorb at all. Opponent has settled the wreckage mana up, so a Thoughtseize would be nice. I can also ult them. I mean, aren't they just forced to bounce my Liliana right now? Yep. Tap bounce or bounce draw. That's really what they have to do here. They have to Cryptic here, because otherwise I'm just going to ult her. Okay. I honestly see no reason not to do this and pitch the snap. Okay, Settle's gone. So our opponent needs to top deck very well here, and Snapcaster just generally is not good enough. This is a matchup where I actually like Noble Sultai. Sure. Goodbye, Kalitas. Now I have 4 power. I could make it 7 power. That doesn't really change the math at all, so I'm just going to go like this. I will eat 1 thing. Eat a snap. And now I'm either holding up 1 green mana or a trophy right now. Okay, Field of Ruin stops my tar pit. So that's that. I think I just represent lethal unless they have something sneaky here, right? If they have it, they have to do it now. Cryptic. Cryptic tap bounce is probably their best line. That lets me... Sure. I can put them at 2 right here, or I can just replay Liliana. I'm actually kind of intrigued to just putting them at 2, and that way they need a board wipe to stop my game plan. They need to top deck like a Snapcaster, and that's still not enough. Sultai is the best green-black X deck against control. Like, I now get to bring in Notion Thief, Fulminator, Unmoored Ego, a Liliana if I want, but most importantly, I'm bringing in Disdainful Strokes, and I'm bringing in answers to their top decks. Green-black X has always historically been really strong at dealing with what's in people's hands and what's in people's boards, but it can't deal with the stack and can't deal with the top deck. Sultai can deal with the top deck really well. So I'm actually just going to trim all my Fatal Pushes, probably the Dismember. Kalitas is pretty bad here. And this is really what wins me the game. If you notice, all these cards have something in common, and that's all those cards cost 3 or more mana, which is where I really like Noble Hierarch in this situation. I can get to those powerful cards a little bit quicker. Scavenging Ooze seems a little iffy here, so I'm actually okay with trimming 1. I can trim 2. Yeah, I like this a lot. So this is actually almost what I want my game plan to be here. My game plan is I want like a turn 1 discard, a turn 2 Goyf, and a counter squall to deal with their top decks. This hand almost does that. If I top deck like a Thoughtseize right here, it would do that very well. Creeping Tarpet's also surprisingly good against their Planeswalkers. Something that I think a lot of other decks just aren't as good at. Sure. I still have not had a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, which is odd because I should start with them about 50% of the time. Had some really weird variants here. I'm actually just going to shock and play Fulminator here. If I can keep them off Jace mana, I think I can win the game. Now they're off white mana. Let's see what they do. They're back on white mana. So I'm going to play Goyf here, and I get to counter Squall if they snap snare me. If they try to play a Planeswalker here, I get to counter Squall it. So Fulminator gave me a little bit of tempo boost, so now it's like I am starting player. That's what I just did. I just said, you aren't starting player anymore. I am starting player. I need a breeding pool. And now for the rest of the game, I'm playing a flash deck. Condemn. Let's counter squall that. Actually, yeah, I have another counter squall. Let's just counter squall this. And let's counter squall this. Now the rest of the game I'm going to be snap counter squalling. And this is on game plan because I'm also, counter squall is really important because it also lets me race my opponent. Now my opponent's at 13 life, and next turn my game plan, like I said, is to snap counter squall. Unless they drop a Planeswalker right now, this is their window of opportunity. Unless they do right now, this game is in a pretty good spot. They can't hard cast the Terminus. Okay, yep, Teferi was the one thing I was thinking of maybe letting Goyf die for to stop their top deck, but I still have plenty of answers to deal with it going forward. Let's count my mana. So I want to snap Squall, it's 4. So I don't need this. Fortunately, now I have to start attacking Teferi. I'm now in a spot where future top decks, without a tracker, future land top decks are very bad. Felt a little weird, their timing right there. They now have Settle mana, but I do have a counter squall for it. I also have a Disdainful Stroke for it, so we're in a pretty good spot here. I'm able to deal with pretty much anything they throw at me right now. Blue, black. That's the reason I grabbed the island, is I wanted access to more blue mana this matchup. Yep, they're not fighting over this, so Tarmogoyf grows, and I still have a Disdainful Stroke for their turn to deal with another Teferi or another Jace. You can see in this matchup why I like Sultai. I am the control deck now. No, that was terrible. Never do that again. So when blue-white, you guys remember a few months ago, or several months ago, I guess at this point, when blue-white control was like the top dog in the format? This is the deck I was running, and I think that was correct. It was like blue-white control, and then it was a lot of like Bridgevine and things like that. This deck could do turn 2 Scavenging Ooze, eat something, which is very important in those matchups. Sure, give me some land. What do I need? I don't need any more black. I'll just take a forest for my 1 of Scavenging Ooze. Okay, so I want Snap. I want 4 mana up for Snap, which means I cannot attack with Creeping Tarpit, but I can drop a Liliana. Liliana can rebuy Fulminator Mage. I'll do like that. Unfortunately, I think I need the Snapcaster mana up. I think next turn my line is Snap Fulminator, but I just want to keep Snap mana up right now. I have my opponent's in top deck mode. I want to deal with their top decks. I don't know if you guys can hear the puppy, but she's a little upset she's going for a nap right now. So I see no reason to Fulminator right now. If they rip a Terminus or something like that, I'll do it. But otherwise, I'm just going to sit back, relax. Do I get anything out of this? Still have double blue, so I'm fine. I get to have Fulminators to deal with their Colonnades. I get to have Snapcaster to deal with the stack. I'm in a decent spot right here. Now, I could flash in Snap just as a beater, but I don't think that's wise. They have double white. Yeah, I'm just going to attack and then go from there. If they have anything, I can counter it. You guys can definitely hear the doggo. All right. She's cute. She's worth keeping around. Black, black. Doesn't matter. Okay, just hold on to the Snapcaster Mage. I'm playing kind of like a weird little Delver deck where I'm just going to try to answer their top deck, protect my queen, protect their threats. I can answer Terminus pretty cleanly, and I win the match. So that's what Sultai was kind of, this deck was kind of designed to beat. It was kind of designed to beat the Tron, because Tron and Blue-White in Bridgevine, the meta was really, I wrote a whole article on it. It's available on Reddit. You just Google Noble Sultai, Reddit, it'll pop up, or Google St. Doom. Yeah, let's do this again. The whole point of the deck was, the format was either very fast or very slow, and we're starting to get to that again right now. We saw with the Abzan Traverse League, where decks are either slowing down or speeding up, and there's really no middle, right? Like, people force a middle sometimes. You go to a GP, you're always going to play against some Jund decks because people bought them, people foiled them, people want to play them. But when you play online, sometimes you get paired against either Tron or you get paired against Bridgevine. And what one deck can do well against both? This deck. This is a really slow hand, but I'm on the play. I think I keep this hand just due to the power level. This feels like a trap, though. If I was on the draw, I think this would be a much bigger mistake. Okay, we're up against Merfolk or Spirits, and luckily we drew a 2-drop. Merfolk's a little bit rougher for Sultai because we have I have no idea what this is. I really have no idea what we're playing against here. Yeah, people are always going to jam mid-range just because it's fun. I don't think I need all these tireless trackers. No matter what I pitch, I'm growing Goyf. Like, I have no idea what we're up against right now. They obviously care about spreading. Really, the steam vents are throwing me off. Okay, we're up against Merfolk, but they're red. Let's attack. I mean, this Spreading Seas would have done nothing if this was a fetch land here. Probably should have done this first to get one more point of damage in. Definitely should have done it first. So my goal here is to Snapcaster block to protect Liliana. Sure. Yeah, I don't know what the red is for. Okay, there's the Lord they showed us. Let's flash in Snapcaster for value of trading right here. Oh, Island Walk, can't block. Punt, punt, punt. That's what happens when you're in 2 leagues in a row with decks you haven't played in a while. So I have no reason not to attack. Or to straight racing here. Don't think I can win this. We haven't seen, again, another match where we haven't seen removal spells. Kalidas is, they have Bolt. Okay, so this is Merfolk with Bolt. Let's bring in Damnation. Liliana is actually decent here. I don't hate Collective Brutality. What is bad here? This is probably a little weak. Kalidas is very strong. I don't really need Tracker as much here. I think I'll pitch a Thoughtseize. Yeah, what is the advantage of red and Merfolk? Obviously get Lightning Bolt. A braid is probably a good thing you can bring in. All right, Crimson. Glad you jumped on. I will definitely be doing more Sultai at some point, hopefully with a little more success. I mean, we can still pull off a 3-2 lead here. We're just down a game. I like this because it's got Damnation. Just need to draw 2 more lands. But thanks for hopping on, Crimson. I actually still think I would have played Snapcaster Mage there anyway, just to get the attack out, so it's not a full punt. Alright, opponent's going to give me an island, right? Sure. The wizard counterspell seems neat, but what red creatures are they probably running? I mean, maybe they're running Snapcaster Mage or Bolt. That just seems weird. I'm gonna protect my life total a little bit more here. Still under the assumption they're going to give me an island. They might have taken those. Okay, Bolt is doing work for them so far. Okay. Alright, here's my blue mana. Still have not had a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, which its entire mana base is built around doing. Three lightning bolts. Wow. Clearly they're red for lightning bolt, but I didn't think lightning bolt was that. Okay, they were nice enough to give us the blue. I would love to draw another land, now a swamp. So I can snap nothing, but I can push at their end step and then snap push on my turn. Sure. Unfortunately, that won't give me... There we go. Fetch land is exactly what I'd love to draw right now. Not a fetch land. I want my opponent to flood the board, and then I can cast a Damnation and absolutely wreck their day. That's the game plan we have right now. They have another Master in hand. Okay, yeah, Damnation seems pretty cool here. I'm going to Snapcaster my Noble here. Island Walk. Cannot beat Island Walk. I have a couple different lines here. I'm inclined to attack with both and then snap push. I think that's the best line I can do. I can kill the Master, which would give me a free zombie token. I can't kill Master of Waves here. I don't have Revolt. I think I'm just happy trading Kalitas, to be honest. I think I'm pretty far ahead here. I think I just kill this. And I drop a Noble and pass. Even though it feels weird to not Damnation with Kalitas in play and get value of all those 2/2s, and my hand is a little awkward, but I do think I need to race here, right? So I can't block that. Oh, they have no Lord. I can block. It's fine, because it's also an elemental, which is cute. This can kill the Master. Just sit back here and protect Liliana. I think she's the most important card in my hand. Yeah, Cletus gained me 3 life, killed a couple tokens, and gave me a zombie. I think that is more than enough what we're asking him to do here. Can always buy him back with Liliana, but right now I'm just ticking up for her ult. They don't have a Lord. If they did, they would have flashed it in to save their dude. The reason I killed the Master instead of the Benthic when they were tapped and I could have killed the Benthic is I didn't want them to top deck another Master and then get run over. I can either just keep upticking her for an ult, or I can bring back Kalitas. I think I just want to try to ult her here. And I'm 2 turns away. Yep. The reason our opponent can't attack is they're at such a low life total. If they like attack, we can just I can just kill them. Sure. That's fine. Okay. I'm just going to untap and kill them. Yep. So I was going to kill the Tidebender, block, ult, and win the game. Win the game multiple ways. Okay, so same exact game plan. Kalitas plus Damnation is the best thing we have against creature decks. I don't have any removal here, but I think this hand is fine. I have Tarmogoyf and Lily, and when I eventually draw one of my a million bajillion removal spells, I can snap it back. It's gotta be for a Braid, right? Like, what else would you run the red for? Okay. So next turn is a Last Hope, which will kill, hopefully, something. If they have a Lord on the Vial, I can get a little punished here. But I still think it's the right line. Okay, this is a Lord. Yep, punished. Okay, so Lily's dead. The new Spectacle Draw 2 sounds pretty spicy, because Merfolk does often run out of top decks. I just need to draw Damnation here, and I think I just run away with this game. They're attacking me and Lily, so let's drop Kalitas. And then I get to untap Sure. Probably should have fetched a basic there, that way I don't have an island. Yeah. 3, 6. Yeah, level up guy? Like, I'm just really confused what's going on here. I mean, if they have bolts, I'm dead, so. Yeah, alright, am I just dead? That looks pretty close. I am pretty dead here. Hey, days. So I can trophy the Lord. They'd still have Island Walk on a 3/3, so I need to actually attack here, which just feels super awkward, right? But I need to gain life. And I'm one land short of snap blocking. So I trophy the Lord, right, while they're tapped out. Get a blocker. And then I can... How much? I can block one of it. What is this guy? I can block 2, take 6. So I need another blocker. But I can flash in a snap. I think I actually want to get a basic forest. Play a noble. And now I'm decently safe because I can also snap in an extra blocker here. With Damnation still being my best possible top deck. Sure. That's fine, as long as they don't have a Lord. How many levels is this guy? What is he? He's a 4/4? So I need to flash in snap. And we did not... Once again, its deck is chock full of removal spells, and we just aren't drawing it. Like, we're just dead here. Kalidas is certainly working overtime, but our opponent's got enough power on the board where we're just dead. I just have to hope they punt. That's the only out here. All right, one more. This is what happens when you play janky homebrews instead of tiered decks. Although I will say, I do think variance has been a pretty killer here. In the Abzan list, we flooded really hard in the entire first league. We also were playing against bad matchups. We flooded really hard and drew on a 20 land deck. I felt like we had 6 to 7 lands consistently, which doesn't make any sense when you really sit down and think about it. Abzan Traverse runs less lands than my Abzan Company deck. And right now, I feel like every one of our losses would have been different. Every single one if we top-decked a removal spell instead of a land late game. Round 1, if we top-decked a removal spell, very different. Last game, if we had one more Fatal Push, even a Dismember, I think we won that game. Unfortunately, we just did not draw removal spells when we needed them. Also, we have a 50% chance of seeing Noble Hierarch turn 1, and we have not seen Noble Hierarch turn 1 once yet, which is blowing my mind. Yeah, I just want to be able to turn... I want to turn to Liliana. All right. Up against Scapeshift. This is a matchup where Sultai is a lot better than traditional green-black. We're going to lose game 1, but then we bring in Unmoored Ego and all of our counter magic and kind of see how we beat... Like we beat Control that way, right? Same game plan. And next turn I get to snap. I either get to play Liliana or I get to snap discard. And then I get to start plussing Liliana. Either way, whichever one I choose. Which is really good. Like, we actually have a decent shot of actually beating them here. So I'm just going to take the prime time. Oh. Alright. I didn't play a land. Let's go to game 2. I don't really like the game 1 setup here anyway. Fulminator, Unmoored Ego, Counter Squall, Stroke, and we can even try to get cute with Surgical. These are bad, Scooz is bad, I have 3 of them. Like, you can see how many cards I have in here that are just bad. All our Fatal Pushes are bad. Last Hope is medium. She does rebuy Fulminators. I don't even really like Tracker that much. Although Tracker is a way to win the game. Let's run this. Here we go. Turn 2, Liliana of the Veil. You guys ready for it? This is what this deck is designed to do. Like I said, it should have a Noble Hierarch in the starting hand about half of the time. Or should rather have a Noble Hierarch on the play about half the time. And the mana base is adjusted, is leaned really hard if you actually take a look at the mana base to be able to do this with a lot of green-black lands. I'm running 4 Blooming Marsh to be able to accommodate this. Yeah, they bolt the bird. Oh, then I'll just do it turn 3. That's fine. Okay. Yep, let's just do it again. Get a basic swamp here. Our life total really doesn't matter unless they are playing like a mid-range plan. Let's plus here. I'll discard my Delta. They discard Escape Shift. So Surgical would be pretty good here. Especially knowing I can snap it later and grab a different target. Sure. Let's go Fulminator Mage. Because we can go turn 2 Fulminator Mage or turn 2 Liliana. Turn 2 Unmoored Ego. Like, there's so many really powerful plays that we're able to do here. Discard the Noble. Crozen Grip. Why would they bring in Crozen Grip? What is Escape Shift afraid of that I could have had? All I saw was Thoughtseize Swamp, right? Maybe I thought it was 8-rack. Sultai Rack, sure. So it's still not out of the... Okay. Plussing. I'm going to Inquisition, snap Inquisition, and then plus Liliana. Luckily, they get to completely empty their hand the way this is built. Attack their Chandra. I'm trying to think if there's any reason to blow up Fulminator Mage at this moment, and I don't think there is. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like main board, we took out we had so many bad potential draws, fatal pushes, things like that. The really only hope we had was just to land a fast Liliana. Post board, though, we have all these extra powerful threats to really blow them up. Okay, so they're trying to draw extra. Summoner's Pact. They might actually use this, but then I would just Lily plus it, maybe get like a Baloth. Okay. Not going to blow up a land here. I'm going to ult them and then play my next Liliana. Chandra will be in one pile and I'm going to be killing her. Like, I don't see how Escape Shift deck can come back from this. They have to pick the pile with 3 lands. If they pick the Chandra pile, I pretty much win because all they'll have left is a basic forest in play. Okay. Yep, that's, I mean, I blow up their land here, I kill Chandra, and then, I mean, what do they do? They're just dead. I don't think there's anything I would like to do differently. I did notice they had a Relic of Progenitus still in their deck, which stops Snapcaster and Goyf. It's kind of annoying, but we still have the 3 trackers as alternate win conditions, and honestly, if we can control them the way we did that game, Snapcaster Mage is fine. So we really get to see this deck shine versus Green-Black X's historically worst matchups. Tron, Blue-Eye Control, Valakut. And this is where this deck is actually shining the most. This is why I loved it when those were like the big pillars of the format, because I wanted to play a deck that I enjoyed playing that could, in a meta that I hated, which was, again, Tron, Blue-Eye Control, and a splash of Valakut. Game 1's still a little rough, and you could argue that maybe we should be mainboarding Fulminator Mages, but I think that sounds fine. I got a turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Goyf, turn 3 Snap Thoughtseize, which is a decent open. Snapcaster Mage is actually a lot like Liliana the Veil here. Like, if you think about it, this is just a plus option, right? And when it's Snap Push, it's kind of like the Edict option. Molten Rain. What is my opponent doing? So because my game plan is to Snapcaster... So let's think this out. Next turn I play Goyf. My opponent will have 2 lands right there. Then I'm going to Snap Push. I actually want to take their ramp spell here. And I can get their payoff later. As long as they don't Relic of Progenitus, I think I'm fine. Why would you bring in Molten Rain against me? The opponent arguably shouldn't fetch there if they want to draw more lands. So I'm not going to be able to snap Thoughtseize thanks to the Relic, but I am in a decent spot as long as I don't top deck more lands here. Molten Rain, sure. I said as long as I don't top deck more lands here. I'm going to hold this fetch until after my opponent blows up this so I can still deal 1 damage to them. Maybe they still think I'm Sultai Wreck, yeah. I might just flash in Snapcaster Mage just to get a little bit faster beats in. I will have to shock to do that, however, because the basic island is in my hand. Again, I don't really think my life total matters too much here. This has to be a watery grave. Really not what we want to see here. Like, I really can't imagine drawing too much worse with what's happening right now. I kept the Dismember in to deal with a Thragtusk or an Obstinate Baloth. It's the only reason Dismember is actually still in the deck. Well, that's really unfortunate. Haven't drawn a single counter magic spell. Haven't drawn any of her sideboard cards this game. And we're just dead. I mean, imagine if we'd drawn a single sideboard spell, if we'd had a Unmoored Ego, if we had... Yeah, I mean... Sometimes you just go 14 cards deep and you don't see any of your sideboard cards. It happens. But you can see how the game plan works here. If we'd drawn one less land and any sideboard card that we sided in, a Fulminator Mage could have been pretty sweet. Any of her counter magic would have just straight up won us the game right here. Disdainful Stroke or Counter Squall would have stopped that, and then we could have swung for lethal next turn. Like, that's how close this game was. Imagine if we had a Counter Squall. Our opponent would be at 9, and then we get to untap and swing for 3, 5, 6, 7, 10. And if Goyf grows a little bit with an instant, which he would, sorry, they're at 9. That's lethal. If we had a Counter Squall in hand, we win this game right here. But we don't. That's Magic. That's the way it works. You lose games where you flood out hard. Which is another reason why I think playing fair Magic right now, or I think it's just a little bit cute in Modern. I love it. I think this deck is a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it took till match 5 before we actually were able to cast Noble Hierarch game 1 or turn 1, and we saw a lot of games, and weren't able to capitalize on something that we should see in about half of our opening hands. It happens. That's variance. Usually over the course of a league, variance kind of settles itself, but it did not this league. I am glad that we were able to finally play against a deck that wasn't white with this Valakut deck. Unfortunately, it was Valakut, and unfortunately, we didn't draw, like I said, any of her sideboard cards game 3. I still think taking their ramp spell over their payoff was the right choice with that Thoughtseize. It's possible I should have just taken the Relic of Progenitus, and that would have guaranteed I could also take the Scape Shift while having a larger Tarmogoyf. That's an interesting line, and maybe that would have been the play. I did bank on drawing into a counter magic spell, and if it was a Titan, I think I'd have absolutely taken the Titan, because Titan doesn't fall to Counter Squall. but Scapeshift falls to any of my 4 counter magic spells. And if I drew Unmoored Ego, that also basically is effectively a counter to Scapeshift. So anyways, that's the league. That is Noble Sultai. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. I had fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. It has not been my week of Magic. No, not at all. I mean, I did play an Amulet League last night. I 3-2'd. I started 2-0, and then I played an Affinity, Classic Affinity. Had an Inkmoth Cranial Plating kill, turn 3, game 1, game 2. Then I was like, oh, this is happening. This is not happening. And then I fell similarly to like a Griselbrand deck or something. I fell really quick, and then I ended up pulling it off the last game to win, to go 3-2. Yeah. So, thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you guys soon.